Hey guys, so we are going to learn the fifth and final method of solving quadratics today, and that is the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. There is a song out there that helps you remember this. It puts it to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel, and it kind of goes like this. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But basically, I just need you guys to find a way of remembering it, okay? And I'm going to give you a little hint, and that is that this part is the vertex. So we've already seen it before. And what we're going to do is do everything that goes inside of this square root first. So this is the new part. You have to square b and subtract 4 times a times c. And I want you to do that part first, and then fill in these two things. Because if you don't, it just looks really complicated, more complicated than it needs to be. Now, you might be like, okay, well, how do I figure out what a, b, and c are? We've actually already learned that before, too. A is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in the middle, and c is the number at the end. The thing about the quadratic formula is you can use it anytime. When you're factoring, the numbers have to work out nicely. When you're completing the square, the numbers still kind of have to work out nicely, although I didn't give you any of the ones that don't work out nicely. So this is kind of your go-to method for anything, okay? And basically all we're going to do is plug in the values for a, b, and c and simplify. While this sounds really basic, the simplification can get kind of complicated sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and do these three examples for you guys. And I'm going to write the letter A, B, and C above it just so you guys know where I'm headed. Okay? So I'm going to start by writing plus or minus the square root. And then I'm going to do some work off to the side over here. And that is that I'm going to do b squared minus 4ac over to the side really quick. So b is 7. So I need to do 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 4. Okay. 7 squared is 49. And over here, minus 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And 49 minus 32 is 17. You might even be able to do that just by either using mental math or typing it into your calculator without writing it down, if that helps. Then I'm going to fill in the rest of the formula. So negative b, or the opposite of b, goes out front. B is 7, so this will be negative 7. So you always switch that sign. And on the bottom is 2a. 2 times 2 is 4. And that's it, guys. You're done. That is the entire problem right there. Let's try another one. A, B, C. There is no number in front of x squared, so we can go ahead and put a 1. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to leave myself a little more space this time. And I'm going to do this part first. So here's why I do this part off to the side on my own. Negative 6 is b. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that negative 6 squared is 36. Because if you type that into a calculator, you're probably going to get negative 36, and then your whole answer is going to be wrong. So I would always do that squaring part in your head, because I think everybody knows that it's supposed to be a positive. But when you rely on your calculator, it gets you kind of thrown for a loop. Okay, and then A is 1. And C is 4. So basically we have 36 minus 16. okay, which is 20. That's what goes in my square root. And then negative b goes out front. So negative b would be 6. I'm going to put times -1. It's the same thing as multiplying by a negative. And a gets multiplied by 2 to go on the bottom. And then, sorry, you do have to simplify that square root if you can. Nothing goes into 17. 4 times 5 is 20, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that out and write 4 times 5. And the square root of 4, maybe I should write that so you guys can kind of see it, is 2. So really I have 2 square roots of 5. And hopefully you're getting a little more used to simplifying the square roots by now. And then guess what, guys? We can divide both of these by 2. You don't have to worry about the 5 because it's in the square root, so it can't get divided by anything that's on the outside anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide them both by 2. And there you have it. And that's what I mean by the simplifying part is honestly the hardest part. Getting to here really isn't that bad. And then we have one more where a is 4, b is 4, c is -9. So I'm going to come over here and do b squared minus 4ac first. B squared, 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times a is 4, c is -9. And there is something kind of special that happens with this one. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times -9 is, let's see, -144. So when you subtract that -144, it becomes plus. And 16 plus 144 is 160. And that's what number is going to go inside of the square root. And then negative b goes out front, 2a goes on the bottom, and you have to simplify from here. To simplify, we need two numbers that multiply to 160. I know that seems like a big number, and some of us freak out because it's over 100, but it's 16 times 10. Because when you multiply a number by 10, it just adds a 0 at the end. And then the 16, the square root of 16 is 4. So you get to put a 4 out there. And I can divide everything that's on the outside by 4. I don't care about dividing the square root because it's attached to this number. So if I divide this number, I'm dividing it really by this whole thing. I can divide all of these by 4. I can't divide them by 8, but I can divide everything by 4, which makes -1, 1. Can't divide the 10 by it because it's inside the square root. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. And that's it.